Good morning, everybody. It's Maggie from Personal Euphoria with today's plank story. I like to think this is a good one, so let's see what you think. While you're moving, you can pick your favorite movement. We'll get the clock on. We will start that now. All right, so when Matt and I took our trip, if you've heard our other plank stories, the beginning started out with great disasters. It rained almost every day, something broke every day, and including we had purchased right before we left these electric bikes because we weren't going to be towing a car, so the electric bikes were going to be how we got around. But within 5 days on the trip, they had broken in transport. We had never really ridden them. They arrived at our house, Matt put them together, we took them out in the street, rode them 10 houses just to make sure they worked. And then again, they broke before we even got to use them at our first destination. So we needed to use them while we were in Georgia to get from the RV place we were staying to the ferry to go to Cumberland Island. And so Matt spent the day fixing them. And then really, we took them out for the first time. Now, I'm scared to ride a bike on the road anyway. It terrifies me. I'm nervous all the time. I enjoy riding a bike, but I like to go to a rails for trails because I'm just nervous all the time on the road. But it's also a real pet peeve of mine when people ride bikes on the sidewalk. So I'll never ride a bike on the sidewalk. So we get on these bikes for the first time. And I am so nervous, not only because I'm on the road, but because I've never really used the electric bike, and I'm scared of how fast it can go. And, I'm like, oh, I'm on it's like being on a motorcycle, and things are going to fly in my eyes. I'm like, I should be wearing goggles. Now I'm going slower than if I were actually riding the bike myself. I think I'm getting up to 10 kilometers an hour, and I'm still nervous. And so we decide the reason we're on the bikes is actually we're doing a test run. We want to make sure we can find our way to the ferry and how long it's going to take so that we can do this again tomorrow. And the road is actually pretty busy and there's lights and intersections. And so I'm having a miserable time. We find our way to the ferry, we turn back, but now it's dark, which isn't the end of the world because the lights actually have headlights, but I'm just extra paranoid. Now I'm like, no car is going to see us well. We're going to get hit. This is the end. And in my paranoia, with a pang in my stomach, I say to Matt, I don't want to die this way. I'm getting on the sidewalk. It's not worth it. My principles aren't worth my life. So I get on the sidewalk, and now I'm just nervous in different ways, right? I feel like I can't go as fast because the sidewalk is bumpy. There's broken glass in places. And anytime I come to a street, I'm convinced whoever is coming is not going to see me. Because no one expects you to come off of a sidewalk on a bike because you're not supposed to be doing that. So I just have this different level of paranoia. It's pitch black now. You can barely see anything but the headlights. When all of a sudden I hear this terrible noise and a wild boar runs out of the bushes by the sidewalk. It grazes my leg, and suddenly the speed of the bike doesn't seem to scare me as much. I go full throttle on the bike, feeling as fast as I can go. I overtake Matt, who's been just pedaling normally because he doesn't need to use the electric bike to keep up with me. And he goes, "What was that?" And I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm getting away from it. When a brown bat flies out of the sky over his head, and I'm just like, we're gonna die here. Something is gonna kill us. So now I'm just freaked out by all of it. We end up getting home safely, my heart beating out of my chest, and I Google it, and it turns out Georgia is having a wild boar problem. It's an issue they have to deal with. There's all these wild boars, and they do not sound pleasant when you make them unhappy as you go by on your little electric bike. So anyway, it's the only time we rode the electric bikes the whole trip because they broke again shortly thereafter, and we decided maybe we could rent a car when we needed it. Anyway, that is your plank in 3 minutes and 49 seconds. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you keep moving and feel great.